Okay, test 1 2. How we looking, guys? Can everybody see me? You should be able to see my screen. Hold on, I gotta mute myself here. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, well, I could hear me and see me, so I'm assuming you all could as well. Let me shrink up. Let me just a second here. Let me shrink up my portrait a little bit. Not that you don't want to see my smiling face, but I don't want to take up too much room from everything else. How's everybody doing today? All right, Ariel, Mr. Webster, good to see you. We're going to give everyone about just 30 more seconds to get in here, guys, because, obviously those that I don't typically trade. I try to have all my trades closed in the last half hour, but I know some people don't, so we want to give them a chance to get in here. NASDAQ, good to see you as always, sir. Or ma'am, I'm sorry, I don't really know anything about you. So whoever you are, welcome. Okay, great. All right. Well, let me go over just while we're waiting for everyone to come in here, guys. Well, first of all, let me. I don't have my bio slide in this. I just brought this up for disclaimer. But anyway, my name is Matt Hensley. I'm the head of trading education at Teresius Trading. I've been doing this. I've been trading full time about 10 years. I've been in education for about 7. I previously worked in the education arm of TradeStation Securities, and now I'm kind of out on my own. Just doing my own thing, and I just sort of randomly connected with the guys at BluSky, got along great with them, and so here I am. So doing some of these events from time to time. Hey, Rich, good to see you. So anyway, what are we going to do today, guys? Jamie, nice to see you. I recognize a lot of names from the Discord channel. Also, guys, I'm going to put in the BluSky Discord a link to my Discord server as well. Now, mine is not really the same thing that like BluSky does. Like I do drop some market commentary in there, but it's not a ton. It's more for me to post when I'm doing events. It's also for me to post info on some of the products that I have. Something I just added in there this week. 2 things, actually. First of all, the morning market briefing, which we'll talk about a little later. It's just about a 2 to 3 minute video that I post up every morning, and that's put in one of the channels there. Also, I just started this week actually posting my full trade journal. Once I've entered my trades for the day, I just cut them out and paste them right in the thing. And this is done for a couple of reasons. First of all, so you can see, sort of a different style of trading, especially, a lot of the BluSky folks that come in there as eval students or funded traders tend to be a little more fast-paced. I'm more of a little momentum trader. Sometimes, most days, I only make 3 to 4 to 5 trades per day. And also for the interest of transparency, guys. I used to be very much against posting that kind of stuff, just because it's people doubt it whether you do it or not. But at the same time, I think there's more and more people out there coming into the education space because there's so many traders out there. It's really hard to tell who's legit or not sometimes. Believe me, I've been on that path before where you're like, gosh, can this person really help me? And just because somebody's a profitable trader doesn't always mean they can help you or help you learn. And just because somebody, it's a whole wide world out there, guys. But in the interest of transparency, at the end of every day, I'm going to post the page for my trading journal in there so you can see exactly how I'm doing. And hopefully that encourages you to reach out for any type of assistance that you need. So what are we going to do today, guys? I'm really excited about this one, right? So we're going to build out a playbook today. It's going to be a very rough draft, right? But I'm just going to show you the first couple of steps in this. I put several of these together over the years to put, from beginning of a playbook to having an actual play that you deploy in the markets can take weeks, if not months. It can take hours of tweaking the playbook. We're just going to do about the initial 2 or 3 steps, right? The first 30 to 45 minutes, and just show you examples. And then, guys, this is something I'm actually going to I'm going to zero out one of my BluSky evals, and I'm actually going to trade whatever system, well, I know the system, but whatever conditions that we all decide on today. I am going to trade this in a BluSky eval, and we'll see if it's a profitable system or not. And guys, this is the biggest point of this exercise. So all of you that are kind of adjusting or just listen very, very carefully for just about listen the whole time, but listen for the next 10 seconds. The purpose of this exercise, I hope we end up with this in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 months, whatever, with a profitable trading system that we can all trade on our own, right? And then compare notes at the end of the day. That would be great, but that's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to show you the process. Guys, there is a lot of people out there that do trade alert services, live trading, all that stuff. I've done all that in the past, right? And there's some great traders out there that can help you learn. Let me tell you this though. True freedom in trading is not sitting down and following somebody else's trades. True freedom in trading is being in command of your trading and making your own trades. Now, that doesn't mean, hey, Trader Bob, Trader Paul, Trader whoever that I learned from, I really like his or her playbooks. I'm going to use. That's great. That's fine. I trade some systems, especially my options portfolio, that I just learned from some of my mentors, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. But when to get in, when to get out, that needs to be your call, because I've run live trading rooms in the past. In fact, I ran one for an options trading room for TradeStation for many years. And then when I decided to go off on my own, I had all these emails from people that I couldn't respond to due to no compete contracts. But I had all these emails like, well, what do I do now, right? I was making a lot of money with you. Now you're not here anymore. What do I do now? And the answer that I wanted to type back was, that's great. I'm glad we made money together, but the idea was always that you learn the systems and trade them for yourselves, okay? Now, there's a lot of great indicators, a lot of systems that can be pre-built into your... That's fine, but the ultimate decision to trade or not to trade needs to be with you, and this is the first step in that. So I believe... All right. Okay, so I've been a little bit of background on my trading style. I've been a candlestick trader my whole career, right? One of the very first books I picked up on trading was the Candlestick Course by Steve Nison. That's Nison. Highly recommend any of his materials. Most of it's out of print, but you can get it very cheap on eBay. A lot of his video courses and stuff like that are available on eBay as well. They're all either secondhand DVDs or somebody selling the video files. I'm not here to tell you what's legit or not, nor would I, of course, ever encourage you to go out and find any sort of pirated files, but do what you need to do. His stuff is incredible. He's the OG of candlesticks, right? But as I got into futures, I really got into, I started using some line charts, some other kind of charts, and about 8 months ago, and it's 5th month. Okay, this was shortly after Thanksgiving. I was in Chicago, and I have a TradeStation had offices in Chicago, so I ended up working there quite a bit and meeting. They're right in the financial district by the CME, the CBOT, and all that. So I kind of cross paths with a lot of these different people, and so a couple of the prop firms there, I've got friends that will kick back and forth ideas, right? And one of them, yes, happy Star Wars Day to all who celebrate. One of them turned me on to these Renko charts, right? And I don't use Renko charts individually. I use them in conjunction with my candlestick charts, right? And then I came here, I saw Mike use it. Hey, that's great, right? It's a whole different style. I don't think for me personally, the Renko charts standing on their own is very tough to trade, but in conjunction with other indicators that I use and in conjunction with candlestick charts, it's a pretty powerful tool, right? Anyway, what we're going to do today is design a simple trend system, a simple trend following system. We're going to I've over the when I came up with this idea a couple weeks ago, I've been snipping little bits of charts to put into our playbook. But we're going to talk specifically about what we're going to call the RTT trend short system. Okay, and you see if I've got the very first line of our playbook right here, RTT trend short. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple examples, and then we're going to define the very basic entry of the trade. We're not worried about exits right now, right? We're going to define the entry of the trade, and then we're going to come up with, and I'm going to need your guys' help on this after I explain the basics for any contributions you want. When I have a playbook, right? So with the play, I have typically a checklist. Then I have a trigger, right? Trigger entry into the trade. But then even before that trigger happens, I have what's called C or C's, confirmations or cancellations, and then I have what are called but ifs, right? So I take the trade, but if this condition is met, I do not take the trade, right? Or if this condition is met, then I do. Again, you understand. Yes, they overlap a lot but from a teaching perspective, I find it helpful to segregate those two. So we're just gonna end up putting down a couple of pages worth of stuff in this playbook. Then I'm gonna clean it up over the coming days and weeks. Maybe add a couple more conditions, and then I'll make it available to you guys at no cost. I'll put it up in my Discord channel, and it'll just be a PDF, and you guys can download it and make your own tweaks to it if you wish. Trade it as is if you wish. But guys, any trading system that you use, anything you do, please, especially in futures, guys, if you hear nothing else in the next hour, hear this. Make sure you trade something on paper simulated for at least a month before you put a single live money dollar into it. Now, sure, an eval account, with BluSky is a great place to practice some of this stuff. That's where we're going to be doing this. But for those who, the month, BluSky's monthly fees are very reasonable, but for that, and if you end up, 2 or 3 resets, if the $300 to $400 a month on that is a little much for your budget, then just use the sim, right? That I thought was really cool. When I was looking into these funded trader programs, because I had some clients ask me about them, is that obviously you have the Ninja Trader license. You can use Trade-of-8, TradingView, whatever the case may be. All of these have sims built right in, guys. So I use Edge Pro X, with which you can. It's about $30 a month for the license, but then the data fee, obviously they use Rhythmic, so you can just pipe right in there with your BluSky Rhythmic credentials, and it's a simple pull down menu, right? You don't even have to log out or log back in. I'm using my eval account, 2 clicks. I'm using my sim account, right? So it's a very helpful tool with that. So let me describe the very basics of the system right now, guys. I am a KISS trader. Keep it simple, stupid. I have very simple patterns that I look for, and then it's those C or C's or the but ifs, which to me are what create an edge, right? In any given pattern in the markets, there may be a slight edge to the pattern, right? Especially in candlesticks, right? Like, for example, as you see on the screen here, this little area here, we have a multi-wick rejection, right? So 3 straight 5-minute candles rejected this 1390 level on the NQ right now. In this situation, to me, at least in my years of experience, there is an edge to then fading this move, right? Fading or going in the opposite direction of the rejection. But it's not so much of an edge that's the only pattern you need, right? We really need to find a way to take what's a coin flip situation, maybe a 50-50, and we need to find a way to add 5, 6, 7, 8% to that, if not more, right? My winning percentage has been pretty good in the last couple of years, but you don't need to win 80% of the time, right? If you can find let's say a 2-to-1 or even a 1.5-to-1 risk to reward and win 55 to 57% of your trades, your account's going to go up and pretty quickly, right? We all hear these wild claims out there of winning percentages and risk to rewards. Trust me, if you can just find, if you find 2-to-1, 3-to-1, that's great. Okay, that's fine. But 1.5-to-1 reward to risk and get a 55% winning percentage. Go do the math on that, guys. And then find a couple extra tweaks that take it up 2 to 3%, and that goes a long way. Okay, so let's talk about the basics of this pattern. Right now, I've been playing a little bit around with this particular system, and again, there's a long version and a short version of it. We're just focused on the short. I personally, I don't bring a bias into the markets day to day, but I do have a thesis, right? And what is a trade? A trade is where a thesis meets a setup, okay? And so for me, the thesis we're going to be either kind of flat or bearish, I think, for the next couple of months, right? I think it's going to be kind of a frustrating, choppy summer. I think that, but obviously, as we see intraday is intraday traders, listen, if you have money in a small regional bank that's in trouble, you can be a little concerned. As day-to-day traders, we don't care about any of that. We don't care about what Jay Powell's doing in the markets. All we care about is how do the markets react to it, and where is there opportunity to make money within those reactions, right? Okay, so let's just talk about the very basic pattern. First of all, what is a trend? So an uptrend is nothing more than a series of higher highs and higher lows, right? So if I pull up my drawing tool here, and you can see this here, right? Higher high, higher low. Sometimes they're not always this neat, right? Sometimes they can, but every one of these is a higher high, and every one of these is a higher low. The histogram is called. Down here. This is the TTM squeeze. I don't want to get too much in an indicator because it's a whole different thing. It's the John Carter thing, which he used to do a lot of teaching. Now he really just sells indicators, but I don't use it individually, and I don't think it has a huge edge in terms of entering trades, but I do use it a lot for a C or C, like I said, a confirmation or cancellation, and I do use it for trade exits. That's where I found there to be a bigger edge for my style of trading. Not that it's not a good tool, so I don't get any angry emails from Simpler Trading in my inbox. But anyway, so as you see here, guys, this is a very clear uptrend. And what happens on the other side? This is a very, very clear downtrend. A downtrend is nothing more than lower highs and lower lows, right? Lower highs, lower lows. So we want to ask ourselves, and again, guys, I know this is intentionally a very simple pattern that we're experimenting with here, guys, right? Because again, it's the exercise. It's not the pattern itself. It's the exercise of building out a playbook. Okay, so actually, this is a very nice little, and guys, I'm working off a gigantic iMac monitor and a tiny little side monitor. So if I move stuff around or parts of this, I'm going to be clipping and putting in the playbook off screen, but I'll be pulling it over from time to time. So the very basics of what we're looking for is to catch part of a downtrend. Now, we look at this chart, right? And an inexperienced trader is going to look at this chart and say, well, I could have got in here and got out here. An experienced trader is not going to say that, okay? An experienced trader is going to say, you know what? I'm going to get in here once the downtrend is confirmed, and I'm going to get out probably before here, right, guys? Probably be on the lookout as we get to get to a particular profit target. That depends on your particular risk tolerance, etc. Right? But if there's a 200-point move in the Nasdaq, an inexperienced trader is going to say, I can catch that 200-point move. An experienced trader is going to say, I'm going to catch the 100 in the middle of that. Right? I'm gonna get out before everyone is starting to buy in. Right? And then I'm going to move on to the next trade. Right? I'm somebody, I don't typically, knock on wood, I'll say this and then it'll happen 10 times tomorrow. I very rarely have more than one trade on at a time, right? Because I want my attention to be on that trade. This is futures. We're talking about, and again, if you've traded a funded account before, whether you're successful in it or not, I've traded my own money in futures for going on 4+ years now, right? It's a whole different ball game when you see that plus or that minus in 4 figures and it's your money, right? That's a whole different ball game. So, there's mental advantages and disadvantages to that, but this is, again, this is basically how I've traded over the years. So anyway, what we want for the RTT trend short is we want a confirm downtrend. So how do we confirm a downtrend? Well, we just talked about it. So it doesn't now it's great when we have this expansion of price action, right? Because in most situations, especially on today, which is basically a non-news day, even though yesterday was FOMC, and even though we had jobs this morning and there's still earnings going on, it's not like there was a CPI report. It's not like, we're in, at least not yet, in a recession, and things like job numbers are more than just, blips in the morning. So when we see a big move like this, we're always going to, we're going to be looking for the correction. We're going to be looking for part of a retracement, right? And in this situation, we got here. We moved up. So right now we've made a lower high, right? So here was our previous high. We made a lower low. Then we made a lower high. And the trigger for this trade, so that's our checklist, right? Our checklist is the beginning of a downtrend, right? Price action moving down. We make a lower low. Why does that keep? Okay, sorry. We then make a lower high, and then we begin towards another lower low. And technically speaking, we hit a lower low as soon as we break down below this little pivot point, right? Okay, so that is the trigger for the trade. All right, again, we're not worried about exit criteria yet. We'll talk about that in a little bit, and that's something actually we can experiment with in the eval trading of this over the coming weeks, right? Like I said, in my Discord channel, I'll be talking about this quite a bit in the coming weeks, and you guys can stay in tune on this. Okay, so that's it, guys. Now, so basic pattern, right? Now we get to the C or Cs or the but ifs. And again, I'm working off a different machine than I trade off, so I took some screenshots. Let me find one, and I will give you another example of this trade, and we will begin to, you know what, I can get rid of that. I don't need that. Okay, we can begin to put this on digital paper, right? So the first thing is, there's my OneDrive. Okay, so let's do the RTT trend short. Okay, so this is, and I've scribbled on this already. Oh no, I haven't. Let me get rid of that. Okay. So this is my main trading desktop, right? So you'll see here, same stuff you just saw, because the TradingView platform is, you know, basically cloud-based, so it, you know, wherever you pull it up, it's going to have your indicators and stuff on it. I really like that. Over here are the three things that I use as my primary confirmations or cancellations, right? So in this situation, I have the VIX up here, I have the ADD, the advanced decline, and I have the ticks. Now, just a brief primer. If you don't know what the VIX is, guys, why are you trading? I mean, I don't mean to be funny or anything like that, but like if you don't, and you don't have to understand all, you know, how it's calculated and show me the formula and all that kind of stuff. But let's talk about just, you know, measure of volatility, right? So we're not going to talk about the VIX. The ADD is the New York Stock Exchange advanced decline difference, right? So all that is showing you the difference between the amount of issues, which in this case is stocks, right, in the New York Stock Exchange, that are red versus green. So a negative number means there's more red than green stocks on the market right now. Positive number is vice versa. And on this screen, you can see we're at negative 558. So at the moment I took this screenshot, 558 more stocks were red than green. Now, how do we read this particular indicator? For me, I'm most interested in extremes, okay? And the extremes of this are, technically speaking, an extreme is below negative 1500, right? So negative 16, negative 17, negative 1800, all extreme readings on the downside. Plus 1500, plus 1600, all extreme readings. But I tend to narrow it even further to the thousands, right? It's a nice little easy bracket. So an extreme positive reading is plus 1000 or higher, and an extreme negative rating is negative 1000 or lower, okay? So this is the, you know, the first thing that I'm looking at. In most situations, because again, we're talking about a short trade, I'm not going to take a short trade in index futures, right? Especially the ES, the S&P 500, very you know, not the same as the New York Stock Exchange, but very close, right? We're talking about the big boys, the big money, you know, like Tim Apples and all of that. And I don't want to trade necessarily against that. So if I get a short signal and the ADD is plus 1600, probably not going to take that trade. Now, it doesn't mean that trade is not a winner, right? That trade would be a winner just enough to make you think you can take it every time. But in my non-scientific viewing of this over the past about 4 weeks, it reduces the probability of a successful trade. I don't know by what percentage yet. That's something we can all look at. But just in my experience in the last month of just eyeballing this, those are, and obviously we're focusing on the short right now, but the long trade in this, like today where the ADDs were extreme negative most of the day, right? And yesterday on the big downturn after the J-Powell press conference, right? So I'm not looking for longs at that point. I'm not fighting the trend. I'm not fighting the money. That's good. I don't. My whole family's from St. Louis. So I go down to St. Louis a lot. Mississippi's right there. That's a big old river. If you've never seen it down in St. Louis, I know it's smaller up in like Minnesota and all that, and it's basically almost a mile wide when you get down to the bayou, right? But right there, it's a big, thick river, and I just think about swimming against the current of that river and how exhausting that must be, right? Instead, you can just get in a little dinghy boat. I mean, you got to avoid the barges, of course, and let the current will carry you all the way to Nolens if you got the time and the food, right? So we don't want to. No, negative 558, Jamie. Negative 558 means 558 more are red than green, okay? And I see the questions about the NASDAQ, and I don't want to get into projections, and we're not in the prognostication business, guys. Unless you're a swing trader or a long-term trader, somebody could ask me right now. In fact, this has happened before. So, where do you think the markets are going to be next month? I don't know, and I don't care. I don't. We don't, as day traders, as futures day traders, we don't give a you-know-what where the markets are going to be 3 days from now. We really don't. We just want to play the probabilities for where the markets are going to be 10 minutes from now. We don't even really care where they're going to be 2 hours from now, right? Well, Captain Axe, so that you just hit on the crux of this, right? And you must have slipped in a little late after I explained this, right? We're just in the testing phase, right? This is not me standing up here trying to sell you an indicator or anything, right? There's a lot of that in this business where I'm saying this has a great winning percentage. It'll make you millions. No, I'm showing you the process of building out a winning system. I've seen this enough. I think this is going to be a nice winning system for us that we can develop together over the coming weeks, but I don't know that. Guys, I have done this exact process that I'm about to show you, that we're talking about. I've done this probably 50 times in the last 4 years. I trade about 5 setups. So that should tell you how often that I get through this system and I'm like, rip it up, throw it away. Or at least put it in a desk drawer and look at it a few months later, right? So what's the winning percentage of this strategy? We're going to find out together, all right? The probabilities, just based on my experience, favor us not trading this much after another month or two. That's not the point of this exercise. The point of this exercise is to show you the process and to get you to the point where you should always be developing your own playbooks, right? I talked with a gentleman, he's probably in here right now, a couple days ago about this, right? And the very first action item I gave him in our one-on-one coaching session is take the best play that you have right now, right? Whatever it is, and you need a playbook for it. So what is a playbook? Well, let's start to talk about this. So I've got this screenshot, right? Where's my word? There it is. Okay. So let's talk about this for just a little bit, okay? And again, I'll clean this up, guys, but the objective of this trade and we'll specifically limit this to index futures for now, the ES and the NQ, guys. Maybe actually we'll just stick with the NQ for now, just so it's easier for us all. We don't have to look at multiple charts at the end of the day. So the NQ front month continuous contract. Okay. Checklist. And I'll format this and all this. But this is just the process, guys, right? It's not sexy. It's not exciting. This can be boring stuff. But this is, if you want to be your own trader and not rely on anybody else, right? This is what you have to do. Okay. Okay. So let's, all right. So NQ. So NQ begins a downtrend. Excuse me, a lower high. Let's go lower low. Okay. So again, so we look here, right? Okay, I'm sorry. I just clipped this for this. Let's look at the example we were just looking at. So again, we're coming off here, right? We've got a lower low and a lower high. Now, keep in mind, for Renko charts, guys, my settings are 1, traditional 1, right? So I scrunch this chart together. I saw people use 3, 5, 10, whatever. I use 1, okay? And I use a 5-minute chart, which means you'll see, and any of you guys that have Renko charts, you'll see so as this is going in real time, okay? You will see this being, at least on TradingView, a little bit of a faded pattern, and then every 5 minutes it locks in that price, right? So it's entirely possible, and you have to, this is one thing, I didn't understand this about Renko charts at first, and then I busted out my simulator a few times figuring this out. This looks nice and clean, right? But you can see here this is why I never use Renkos without candlesticks, guys. You can see here, we have a lot of candle wicks in here, right? So there was some indecision for part of this, for the downtrend, right? Pretty good multi-wick rejection here. So basically, this price could have creeped down here before rebounding and pushing up, right? This could have gone higher up here before failing and then locking in that price as it goes down. So just understand that, you know, it's like a candlestick that's still being made. You know, Steve Neeson will tell you, Well, somebody just must have reported earnings. Was Apple earnings today? Since the NQ is going insane here 30 minutes after the New York bell. Anyway, yeah, because it's 30 minutes after. Apple loves, say what you want about Apple. They love a captive audience, and they love the stage to themselves. They're not somebody report. Yeah, there you go, Apple. They're not reporting, with everybody else. They wait till everybody's done and the conference calls are done, and then they want to come out, and it's so Tim can get his calls ready or his puts ready, right? So again, NQ begins a downtrend, making a lower low and a lower high. Okay. Trigger. Now, guys, this is something that is, again, just this trigger on the break, breaks lower low, and I usually like to give it about a 2-handle cushion, right? Okay. That's a small cushion, and this may be something we adjust, guys, right? We may look at this and say, you know what, we're going to need a 5-handle cushion, okay? I just use it as a 2-handle cushion, just, so it's not to the tick, right? And I don't front run the, the trade setup, right? This is the NQ. If you're not trying for at least a 25-point move, then you're scalping, right? Which, hey, some people can do that. More power to them. Scalping is very, very difficult. Under 20 to 25 handles in the NQ, under 10 handles in the ES, to me, that's scalping. And again, if that's the route you want to go and make 100 trades a day, okay, right? But this is the process that we need to go, right? Okay, so we've got our checklist. We've got our trigger. Let me find the example here. Where did my... Okay. So I have one example of a trade from... Come on, just a second here, guys. Hold on. Where was it? All right. If I didn't upload this, I'm going to be really upset. Here we go. So I picked this one, guys, because it's just nice and clean, right? Nice and clean. Okay, when was this? The 25th of last month. Okay, so let's review. Price action moves in a downtrend. Why does that get so damn thick? Okay. We make a lower low and a lower high, thus confirming the downtrend, at least as far as Renkos are concerned, right? Entry is on this break, and boom. Yeah. Okay. Good idea. Let me define that. Handles. Handle is a full point in the NQ, right? So 13,000, 13,001, 13,002, right? Or in the ES, 4,000, 4,001, 4,002. We're not worried about the ticks are the individual ticks, right? Like in the ES, 4,025 cents, 4,050 cents, 4,075 cents, right? Those are ticks. A handle is a whole number. I know again, that's one of the things I hate about trading world in general. Like you can say volatility in a room full of traders and it can mean 10 different things to them, right? Okay, so this is a good place or a good example to put in our playbook. Copy image. And that didn't work, of course. All right, let me take a little screen snip here. That'll be a little easier. Come on. There we go. Boom. Okay. Probably expand this as much as it'll let me. Okay. Well, I'm not worried about the formatting of this right now, right? So, which Renko indicator I'm using? There's no indicators on my Renko chart. All the indicators are on my candlestick chart. Okay, sorry, let me catch up on the why 30 minutes exactly. I don't recall where I said 30 minutes. Yeah, so in the NQ, I have no problem putting a market order. What I would typically do in this situation, in fact, when I tested this this morning, guys, I'll put a limit market or a stop market order in, right? So I see this lower low being made, right? And as soon as this begins to move up, and I know that this is going to lock in to form a higher high or a lower high, I'm just going to go 2 handles below and drop in my stop market order. So this is I'll show you the settings. That's about all I can do. Traditional, box size 1, and it's a 5-minute chart. Oh, Apple earns. Yeah, 30 minutes. No, because Apple likes the stage to themselves, right? There's literally hundreds of companies that report after market for earnings season or before every day. Like there's hundreds of companies, but a lot of them we don't care about or we don't hear about. But Apple likes to have the stage all to themselves, right? Okay, let me catch up on some of these questions. Yeah, okay. So if I answered that on the Renko, that's fine. Again, I've been trading candlestick charts for 10 years. I know them backwards and forwards. But for Renkos, I'm only 6 months into this. This is the first system I'm designing that's based off a Renko chart, right? Okay, so back to let's go to our C or Cs. Or actually, let's call these but ifs. Okay, this thing's going to be a snot when it comes to... Come on, shrink, you son of a gun. There we go. Finally, son of... All right. Blow this back up so you guys can actually read what I'm typing. Okay, so let's call these but ifs. So again, this is for the short trade. So the short we want it is above plus 1,000 equals no trade. If VIX is trending lower. So with VIX, guys, for how I use the VIX, I do care about where the VIX is. I'm more interested in which direction is it going, right? If we're getting a short trade here, right? And this is why I picked this setup. It's a really nice setup. It had been in a downtrend. And guys, we've all seen when the ES or the NQ is in a downtrend and the VIX isn't moving, right? That's ripe for a snapback, right? For a pullback in that direction. So in this case, we want the VIX, wherever it is, to be trending downwards, right? By the way, guys, you can see in the chat there, Josh has put, this is where you sign up for the raffle for the 50K. So we will pull that in about 15 minutes or so. Okay, a few minutes late. Before you apply your playbook rules, do you start from a naked chart to analyze? I use any indicators. This is why I chose this strategy, right? and I'm sure a lot of, well, this is so simple. How is it going to, well, we don't know that it does or doesn't work. My guess is that this strategy actually, because again, I've been eyeballing this for several weeks now, right? I think this strategy will work, but it's probably going to need an extra indicator is my thought process on this. Because just watching this and doing some trades on it, I've done a few. It had actually a really good weekend this last week, and then today went 0 for 2 on a couple early trades this morning. I'm going to speculate right now, and I'm pretty accurate on these things from my experience. We're going to need probably one more indicator of some kind to give us that extra edge, right? Okay, so but ifs. Now, let's talk about exit criteria. And this is where I'm going to count on you guys to help me out. What do you think our exit criteria should be? Should we set a standard entry or exit? Like, I always default, guys, to ATR, to a 5-minute ATR. And that's where I'm, because again, I use 5-minute candlestick charts. I use 5-minute Renko charts. So I'm going to start with an ATR. And guys, this is where the actual trading and the journaling of this comes into play, right? Let's say that I set a 2 ATR profit target versus a 1 ATR stop loss, okay? And let's say this is a losing trade or a losing system after 2 weeks. But if we had adjusted it to 1.5 ATR versus 1 ATR, it would have hit 15% more. Well, that's a big thing. So, yeah, I don't believe in trailing stops personally, Ariel. Now, it's not to say they don't work. That's not. I manually trail my stops. Let me finish this thought, and then I'll tell you how I handle a lot of my trades. So let's just say, just to start, okay, because my first thought is the stop is above the higher high or the lower high, right? And on this chart, that looks pretty simple. But again, with Renko charts, we don't know that this price didn't head up, right? So why don't we start with, just again, to start, let's start with a 1 ATR stop loss and 1.5 ATR first profit target. Okay? So, let's do this because it'll make this a little easier to read. So how do I trade, guys? All right. So when I trade, you're not gonna be able to see this on this. Is when I get into a trade, and let's say I wanted to trade here. I wanted to go long here, which obviously would not have been a good trade, right? When I enter the trade, the very first thing I do is put my stop loss in the market, right? So let's say I put my stop loss down here. And that's a full stop loss. That hits that, I'm out. The first thing I'm going to do then is, depending on my setups, and my setups I have various, but let's just say I have another setup that I use 1.5 ATR to the upside, 1 ATR to the downside. So let's say I put this 1 ATR. I'm going to put a half exit. So if I have 20 contracts, I trade usually anywhere from 20 to 30 micros. Okay. Yes, I know I pay way more in commissions, but I appreciate the flexibility of being able to scale out. If I take 2 minis, I can only go 50% out, on either. I like to scale out sometimes in 4 or 5 tranches, depending on the price action, right, guys? Now, as soon as this is hit, stop loss goes to break even. I go risk out on the trade. Hey, Matt, does that ever cost you some money because sometimes it'll go through and then charge? Yeah, it has. Okay, but my mental game, my trading psychology, if I let a red trade or a green trade go red on me, that just F's with my psychology for the rest of the day. I don't trade effectively then because I'm in my own head and I'm second guessing. Okay, so does this particular thing probably cost me a little bit of profit from time to time? I bet it does. But a lot easier to make the next trade when you're not still frustrated. And I have a bad history when I first started of revenge trading. A lot of you guys do as well because I've talked to some of you. Okay, that's one of the biggest you lose on a trade, you get angry. Man, the market owes me, right? I'm getting that back. Okay, well, that's one way for the market to get you twice or even 3 times, right? So once this profit target is hit, I'm half out of the position, and let's say I have 20 contracts, 20 micros. So a 10 is off here. Stop loss on the rest, the 10 here. Then I'm probably going to look at the chart and set 5 more and 5 more. and just really or I may just let those last 5 run. Then I'm going to manually, not automatically, bring this stop up. So every time the NQ goes up about 10 points, I'm going to bring this stop up about 10 points. Okay. What usually happens on my successful trades, I'll hit this half here, I'll hit this quarter here, and then somewhere in here, my trailing stop finally catches up to it. Okay. So that's how I manage the majority, not all. That's how I manage most of my futures trades. Okay. So for me, that's how, since I'm going to be initially trading this, this is how we're going to do it. Okay. So this is the basics of a playbook, guys, right? This is it. Now, like I said, I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to add more examples. We're going to have to talk about, again, failing trades. How do what are some other things that are going to keep us out of the trades? But this is something that this is the very beginning. And this is, guys, like I said, let me go ahead. I'm going to put, I am going to put this in the room as well, in the BluSky Discord, but here is a link to my Discord. And again, I don't do much in here during the trading day, right? I just kind of resurrected this Discord last week. It had kind of been idle for a little while. So I'm going to start posting a morning video every morning. And there's no cost for this, guys. This is a free Discord channel. And Beyond the Bell, the show that I'm normally doing right now, the links for that are in there as well. So feel free to jump in there, say hello to some of my current clients. That's a great place to ask. The best place to ask me questions, direct message, guys. I'm not stingy about that. If you ever want to direct message me, now in the evenings I'm away from my computer, so if you message me at 5 o'clock, I'm not going to get back to it till the next morning. Yeah, so the market indicators that you talked about, they are available on TradingView, but it's an additional cost for them. It's like an additional $12, $13 a month or something. I get them through Thinkorswim for free. Guys, it was about 8 years ago. I put $100 in a TD Ameritrade account. Obviously, they're bought up by Schwab now. That's now worth $100.30, thanks inflation. But I've used their platform for free ever since. I've never made a trade through them. Never have. But their platforms are, especially for options. I love their platform. It's very good. All right, so Josh is giving you the 3-minute warning on signing up for the raffle. So guys, what I'm going to do now is, and again, I'm going to keep you updated on this, right? This was just, the exercise was just to show you the basics of this. If you don't have an actual playbook and a checklist and triggers and all this stuff, what are you doing, right? Like, because you can't just get into some, I think this is going to go up, I'm long here. Well, why? What's the market structure is another one too. We didn't really get into that. Every day, every morning, and I do this, I'm going to start doing this on the morning market briefing as well. I look at a ES chart on a 1 hour and a 4 hour time chart, and we just look at the overall structure of the markets, right? Because that's where the basics of everything begins for me. So I can go into them, again, I don't have a bias, okay, but I go into every market day with a thesis about what could happen, often in both directions, right? Okay, if we break through this, like Spot Gamma is a tool that I use. They are adamant that if we stay below 4,100 on the ES, we're probably going to test 4,000, and if we get below 4,000, it's a lookout below. So, oh no, everybody gets frustrated, guys. I've been doing this for years. I'm very successful at it. I have days where I'm very frustrated. But guys, now I've kept trading journals for years. I spent literally 6 weeks trying to upload and integrate my old journal into this Trader Sync that I use, and it just didn't play nice. So I said literally 2 days ago, guys, I said, F it. I'm just going to start from scratch. I took all my old journals. I put them in, the electronic ones I put in a file. My handwritten ones I put, and so for a couple of days, and this just, this is just what it looks like, guys, right? And this will make more sense as we're so you can see, like, I have my eval account here, and then so this is my last couple of days in my real money account, right? This is my personal account, this 7PV account, right? So pretty good. Could be a little better, pretty good. My eval account, where I was testing out a couple of things, not so good today. It was 0 for 2 today, down a few $100. Basically break even this week, okay? And this, so every day, and you can see this in my channel, I post whatever the day is. Like, so today, and I can get rid of that. So here was my overall trading day today, right? And obviously, if we just want to talk about my real money account, that was the day today. Okay, I haven't been very active this week because I haven't been sleeping very well. When I don't sleep well, guys, I take less trades and I reduce my position size because I know from experience that it's just I'm not going to make the best decisions. And I unfortunately inherited some of my parents' sleeping habits. About every 3 weeks I have about a 3 or 4 night time where I don't sleep well. So I reduce my position size, and so it's less stress for me, and it is what it is. All right, guys, so I'm going to take questions here for a few minutes, and then in about 5 minutes, we're gonna run our raffle. Okay? Pull up the wheel of names. Let me get you guys hold on just a second. Let me get you guys a link to that journal site because I do have an affiliate account with them. And they're free for 7 days, guys. I can't tell you how many trades I've entered manually. That's not it. Over the years, being able to import your own trades is, I can't even tell you guys. It's so much easier. Cut. Today's trades were 20. Well, one was 20, one was 10 because I got a little heavy into it, so I reduced the next one. Do you actually use that indicator stuff in real life, man? Yeah, bro, I do. I mean, I don't know what indicator you're specifically talking about, but all right, Josh, you want to shoot me over those names and I will get them in the wheel? Oh, the squeeze. I don't have a link to it. It's it's a now. I want to caution you. I think for me, I've never really had a lot of luck with this it's a little bit of a lagging indicator in my opinion. It's called the TTM squeeze. It's available for free in TradingView. It's in Thinkorswim. You can go buy it off John Carter's site. Okay, let me upload these names. We will spin the wheel o' names. The link is for the Trader Sync. Can you make money with it? Again, I don't find it makes me money, but I do find it saves me money. Okay, so here we go. This is for a 50K eval account with our good friends at BluSky. So whoever wins, Josh will be reaching out to you today. Oh, no but if for the tick on this particular trade. So let's spin the wheel. All right, Grant. You are the winner. So Josh will be reaching out to you to get your free 50K eval account. Best of luck with that. Maybe this setup can help. All right, guys, I will take a couple more quick questions, and then we will bounce. But again, Captain Axelrod there, when you were asking about if you have one of the platforms that the squeeze is on, put it on your charts and make a playbook with it. And again, this is so the playbooks guys. They as much so the SMB Capital guys. They're a prop firm out of New York. They wrote a couple books on this, and they did not originate the idea as much as they want to say they did, but they sort of formalized and refined it, right? Where every trade that their traders make has to be in a playbook that they made. Otherwise, they get fired if they don't follow their playbooks. So they spend all their time building and testing playbooks, and then when they're trading, it's just follow. The guesswork is done. When you have a playbook that you've taken the time to put together, I mean, ours is raw, right? We're not. I'm going to go start trading this tomorrow, but I ain't putting a dime of my real money in it, right? Now, if we get to June or July and it's making some money, well, then maybe we'll play around with it a little more, right? Oh, thank you, Captain. I want to be like you when I grow up too. But guys, this is what you do. When you sit down to trade and you're in full command of your trading, it's just following your playbooks. And now if the play sucks, then the playbook is the problem. Because when Josh talks about trading plans, this is it. This is a trading plan. Having a playbook and having your exit and entry, that's a trading plan. Okay, so tomorrow, if we were to take this trade, say, okay, this is an RTT trend short. I know exactly where I'm getting in. I know where I'm getting out for my stop. If you're ignoring the stop or you're not following the rules, you don't know if the playbook is any good or not, right? That's how you make progress in your trading, guys, is building these playbooks and trading the playbooks. End of discussion, end of story. You can get lucky for a couple of days just willy-nilly winging into this trade or winging into that, right? Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. But when you're taking the time to build your playbooks, journaling your progress, finding your edge, incorporating that edge in your playbooks, and then just going out and trading them, guys, the guesswork is done. So, all right, guys. So in my Discord, I'll be linking to it a little bit in the BluSky Discord. I will be talking about some of these things, right? And I'll put a link to my Discord in the I'll put it in the BluSky Lounge right now, guys. Okay. All right. Well, thanks everyone for being here. Let me go. I'm gonna go do that right now, guys. I'm gonna go put this in the BluSky Lounge. All right, my friends. Thank you very much. Josh, thank you for having me again. Everyone have a great rest of your day.